Welcome to another Keymaster Summertime Series episode. I'm Sven Rajala, and today we've got Jiannis Papadakis with us.
Exactly.
And we want to go over how do you handle multi-tenancy with your HSM when you're using a multi-tenant PKI, meaning your CA can support multiple CAs within that instance. Because we do have questions come in, well, how do you handle that with the HSM?
Mm-hmm.
Do I put all the keys on one partition, one slot, or do I use multiple partitions or slots? Do I use multiple HSMs?
No, exactly. I mean, modern PKI means plenty of CAs, right? Plenty of use cases to support compared to the past where it was rather simple. So you are always looking at a multi-tenant PKI software when you are designing your PKI. But I mean, to do that properly, and assuming that you are using HSMs on the back end.
Well, we would only assume you're using an HSM because we want to do proper
PKI. Exactly. Good point. You should be looking at multi-tenancy also on the HSM layer of your PKI. And I mean,
yeah, what does that mean?
Multi-tenancy means that you have dedicated, let's say, security enclaves, if you want to call them this way.
Like little boxes that are secure in the HSM?
Exactly. And you looking at storing the sensitive key material, so in essence, the private keys of your CAs on dedicated little boxes, as you call them.
Which I guess could be the slots or partitions for how you interact with PKCS11.
Exactly. It's that on the PKCS11. I mean, the different vendors use different wording around it, but as soon as you are looking at a high performance net attached HSM, in essence, every vendor has some kind of multi-tenancy concept to offer.
So looking at that, how about if somebody wanted to use a USB HSM for their PKI that's multi-tenant? I mean, yes, you could put multiple keys on there, but how does that going to affect performance and availability?
It's not, before we go into the performance part of it, I mean, multi-tenancy makes sense if you can really isolate your key material within the context of the secure environment, right?
So that means not putting same keys all on a USB, because you can't necessarily partition a USB HSM.
At least not as secure or not at this level when you can do that with let's say a net attached HSM. Immediately next to it comes the all performance aspects. I mean, HSMs are high performance devices, at least when we are talking, or should be, right? This is not necessarily the case with a USB HSM or even a smart card, because simply they are not made for hosting so many different keys and performing this high throughput of crypto operations. So when you think partitioning, or when you think multi-tenancy, to be more precise, you should always be looking at the performance impact of it. So putting multiple CA keys on one and the same HSM within different tenants within that HSM has an effect on the performance. By performance, I mean on the throughput of signing operations. And with that, you should be smart in designing your overall PKI infrastructure.
And I guess the other one I'd want to look at, what about key replication now in this? Because if I am on a device, and even if it's network-based too, with the partitioning, how could key replication possibly work with that? Like, I obviously want something with that, right? So I need to have a plan to be able to do that for the availability side, but also be able to put it in the other one that could be multi-tenant. So it's probably gonna be the same vendor HSM on the other end of it, right?
It has to. I mean, one thing about HSMs is this vendor lock-in aspect. For good or for bad, those devices are made to assure that the keys cannot leave the secure environment.
It's right? Like the Hotel California, you can check out, but you can never leave.
Exactly. Good point. No, but I mean, key replication in that context, you can address it from two different levels. Either the replication of the entire content of an HSM, which means all your different tenants within the HSM. This is, let's say, at the central administration level of the HSM infrastructure. But then you have different CAs with different lifetimes, with different renewal policies, etc., etc. So most probably you are looking also at some kind of replication or ability to replicate single tenants out of this environment. And this is definitely something you should be checking with your HSM vendor before deciding to go for one HSM or the other. so that you have the ability to carve out or to backup restore single tenants within an HSM. Side note, especially if you are thinking of some kind of HSM as a service offering, where you have exactly this aspect of multiple different tenants or customers or clients on those tenants.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. All right, that's some great material then and thoughts to share. So thank you, Yanni, and how to handle multi-tenancy at the HSM level with a modern PKI. So we'll see you on the next episode.